Certain wrestlers have a reputation for giving away their match finish before the bell is even rung. When examining a wrestler's facial expressions and body language, it's sometimes easy to work out how they're feeling. It's not uncommon if a wrestler looks moody or upset, it indicates that they're gonna lose. However, if the wrestler is overjoyed with emotion, it often means that they're gonna pick up a huge win and sometimes even win a title. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 wrestlers who gave away their finish to their match in plain sight. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Number 10, Liv Morgan at Money in the Bank 2022. Money in the Bank 2022 was a huge night for popular star Liv Morgan. She was going to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match and cash in on Ronda Rousey on the same night. Now, upon watching her entrance, it's clear that Morgan was overcome with emotion and struggled to keep it together. Morgan would look like she was about to burst into tears at any moment, and at certain points during her entrance, she had to pause to take deep breaths. Fans on social media were quick to notice this reaction, and they quickly realized that Morgan was in fact gonna win the match. When this reaction is compared to how Morgan normally reacts during her entrance, they're two completely different reactions. Number 9, Drew McIntyre, WrestleMania 36. Drew McIntyre finally reached the top of the WWE ladder at WrestleMania 36. McIntyre would defeat Brock Lesnar in the main event of Night 2 of the show to become WWE Champion for the first time in his career. Whilst 99% of fans expected McIntyre to defeat Lesnar at WrestleMania, when McIntyre made his entrance, his facial expressions made it crystal clear that he was going to win. McIntyre looked confident and happy, but there was a sense of nervousness there as McIntyre evidently realized just how huge this moment was going to be. The interesting thing about McIntyre's reaction was that WrestleMania 36 took place in front of 0 fans. This was due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so if his main event match with Lesnar had taken place in front of 70,000 people, the chances are that his reaction would have been even more of a huge giveaway of his upcoming victory. Number 8, Ric Flairs attire. Ric Flair is one of the most legendary wrestlers of all time, but whenever Flair wore red trunks for his match, it was a clear sign that he was gonna lose. Flair wearing red was rare, but no matter who he was facing when sporting the red attire, he was always gonna come up short in the respective matchup. Some notable examples of these include Flair's WWE title match with Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 8, Flair's match with Brock Lesnar on Raw in 2002, and his WWE title match with Bret Hart in 1992. Number 7, Naomi Summerslam 2017. In 2017, WWE gave Naomi a SmackDown Women's title reign that was a total dud. While this wasn't a fault of Naomi, as WWE just never had any interest in featuring her in a meaningful manner. Her reign lasted from WrestleMania 33 to SummerSlam 2017. During that time, she only received 2 title defenses on pay-per-view, and one of them was a match against Lana. When Naomi made her entrance to face Natalya at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, something felt off. Naomi's enthusiasm simply wasn't there, and it looked like she was offering a fake smile to the audience. Her upcoming loss was apparent when she kept looking at her title over and over, and she was noticeably touching it as if it was the last time she was ever going to hold it. Number 6, James Storm at Impact 2011. It's not just WWE wrestlers who give away their match finishes, as TNA and Impact legend James Storm received a somewhat negative reputation for giving away his match finishes. Fans as well as other wrestlers have noticed that whenever Storm is about to lose a match, he looks completely distraught and he always delivers a lackluster entrance. For evidence of this, no better example than when Storm lost the TNA World title to Bobby Roode on Impact in 2011. Storm, despite being world champion, makes his entrance as if he would rather be anywhere else in the world, and it's therefore made obvious that Storm is dropping the title. According to Eric Bischoff on his podcast, Storm had a problem with putting over other talent, and he would often express this emotion by putting on a boo-boo face whenever making his entrance. Number 5, Nikki Ash at SummerSlam 2021. Losing a title in WWE can be a difficult thing to process, and for Nikki Ash, she struggled to maintain her emotion at the 2021 SummerSlam event. Nikki was about to drop her Raw Women's title in a match that also featured Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, and Nikki's entrance was genuinely emotional. While she was putting on a brave face, there was a sense of sadness in her body language, and when she handed the women's title over to the referee, she had one last look at the title as if she was saying goodbye to a championship that she worked her entire career to attain. Number 4, Mandy Rose NXT TV 2022. One of the biggest news stories of 2022 revolved around Mandy Rose's WWE departure. Rose had been NXT Women's Champion for 413 days, but due to content on her fan time page, she was being forced to drop the women's title and she would be subsequently released from a WWE contract. Rose would defend her women's title against Roxanne Perez, and the reaction from both women during their entrances was a clear indicator that Rose was dropping the title. Perez was overcome with happiness during her entrance, whilst Rose looked noticeably furious over what had transpired. It was likely that she didn't have an issue with dropping the title to Perez, it was simply a case of Rose taking issue with how WWE handled the situation. Number 3. Cody Rhodes WrestleMania 39. It seemed like a certainty that Cody Rhodes would finish the story at WrestleMania 39. Rhodes would collide with Roman Reigns in the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania, and fans fully expected Rhodes to walk out of WrestleMania as the new undisputed WWE Champion. Unfortunately, when Rhodes made his entrance, fans were quick to notice how Rhodes wasn't his usual joyous self. Rhodes had a defeated look on his face, and it was apparent that Rhodes was incredibly disappointed with the fact that he was set to lose the biggest match of his entire career. This disappointment was also apparent in backstage photos from WrestleMania, as Rhodes looked noticeably dejected. Number 2. Goldberg Armageddon 2003. Goldberg's inaugural run in WWE failed to live up to expectations. Their version of Goldberg ultimately wasn't unable to capture the same magic in which WCW captured with his character, and Goldberg left WWE in 2004 feeling extreme anger and bitterness in relation to how his run went. Now, although the run wasn't the best, Goldberg did have a 3-month reign as world champion on the Raw brand, and when Goldberg eventually dropped the world title to Triple H at the 2003 Armageddon pay-per-view, his facial expressions during his entrance told the whole story. Goldberg would defend his world title against The Game and Kane in a triple threat match, and when he made his entrance, he looked completely fed up and he looked like he would rather be anywhere else. It was also reported that Goldberg had a temper tantrum backstage following the match, and this was enough evidence to rule that Goldberg won it out. And number 1, Sasha Banks WrestleMania 35. WrestleMania 35 was supposed to be a special moment for Sasha Banks. She walked into WrestleMania as one half of the women's tag team champions, and along with Bayley, she would defend those titles in a fatal 4-way matchup. But going into the match, fans were seemingly in a universal agreement that Banks and Bayley needed to retain. The titles themselves were only 40 days old and they needed credibility, and Banks and Bayley were the ones for the job. However, WWE had other ideas. They wanted Banks and Bayley to lose to the Iconics, and Banks knew that this was a terrible idea. Upon rewatching her entrance on the grandest stage, it's crystal clear that Banks is angry and disconnected. Bayley seems relatively normal, but Banks shows no enthusiasm or passion during her entrance. She was so furious with this decision that she wanted to quit the company, and she would even ask for her release. This request was denied, and she was instead granted time off to reflect and reevaluate her wrestling career. But there you have it, folks, 10 wrestlers who gave away their match finish in plain sight. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.